Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining this session. And it is a 125 birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. On this great day, we all gather here to discuss about Netaji's thoughts, especially the relevance of Netaji thoughts in the new India. So before starting session, let me take a liberty to mention some of the senior academicians who are joined in this session. So for the audience purpose also. So today our chief guest is Dr. Vikas Mahatme ji. He is a member of parliament and Padma Shri recipient and well-known scholar and thinker. And we have a keynote speaker, Professor Sarup Ghosh ji. He is also other thinker and he has done a lot of contribution, or he has done a lot of research on Swami Vivekananda and Netaji. And in addition to them, we have a Professor Samantha Sasmita ji. She is a Vice Chancellor at Kalinga Industrial Institute of Technology. And we also have a Professor Sambasrao ji. He is a Vice Chancellor at Mizoram Central University. And we also have a Professor S.K. Rao ji. He is a Vice Chancellor at Agricultural University. And we also have Professor J.P. Dubey ji. He is a Director at Honorary Director at School of Journalism in Delhi University. And we also have a Professor Ravindranath Mankonda ji. He is heading a center for the mass communication in Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. And we also have a Professor Nihar Ranjan Mishra ji. He is Dean at NIT Rourkela. And we also have a Professor Padya ji. He is a former APPSC member and honorary professor at Andhra University. And we also have a Professor Nitesh Purohit ji. He is a Dean at IIIT Allahabad. And we also have a Professor Sudhakar Edla ji. He is a former Vice Chancellor and doctorate from IIT Kharagpur and working with RBI. And we also have a Professor Pallam Shetty ji. He is a senior professor at Andhra University. And we also have a Professor Sri Krishna Srivatswa ji. He is a Vice Chancellor, former Vice Chancellor at Northeast Hill University. And in addition to them, so we also have many academicians. So, and in addition to the academicians, we have many youngsters and lot of viewers from the online also. So I welcome everyone. And without wasting much time, I request Professor Samantha Sasmita ji to give introduction about honorable guest of the day. Hand over to Professor Samantha Sasmita.
Most honorable chief guest, Dr. Vikas Mahatme ji, the Padma Shri recipient, thinker, member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, who will be speaking as the chief guest today, and we all are waiting to listen from him. Most respected Dr. Sarup Prasad Ghosh, thinker, author, and director of Mokayas Kolkata, the person who is coordinating this event, Sri Venkat Krishna, who is the key person for organizing such events for the benefit of the people of this country. I have attended few events organized by him previously. And all the respected guests, dignitaries, academicians, experts, and youngsters, those who are connected to the commitment, passion, the thoughts, the essence of the lives of Sri Subhash Chandra Bose ji. Because being connected to an academic institution, I can say that large academic institutions like it, and connected to so many youngsters of 60,000 in the campus, I find that today's generation youngsters are very well connected to thought of Sri Subhash Chandra Bose ji. And about him today we'll be listening from chief guest. But I am little bit connected to more passionately thoughts of Swami Vivekananda ji. And while going through his thoughts and his books, literature written on him, both by the Indian authors and the international authors, sometimes it had motivated me to go through some literature about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose ji. And I was finding that one commonalities were there between both of them. While today we are celebrating Parakram Divas on his 125th birthday, that how his, in the way he was acting to the challenges, to the issues, perhaps it was one of the way not to leave any type of opportunities to the other party to act on. So maybe because of that, this day has been named as the Parakram Divas. And in Vivekananda also, I found he had also lots of thoughts and vision on human rights, on human dignity, and how the whole humanity should behave and live in this world with full rights and by enjoying their own self. And today we'll be listening from a person who is not only a doctor, who has not only served this country as a doctor or the physician. After his tenure of physician is over, I was going through his biodata. Not only he has served as the social worker, but during his tenure as the doctor, he has served a lot to the humanity through his own charitable trust in the name of Mahatme Charitable Trust, and tried to create many histories in the field of healthcare in this country, and by which I was seeing that not only he had conceptualized some vision in the healthcare sector by the mass donation of eyes or conducting the eye camp, operating the eyes at free of cost, but as the ophthalmologist, but also he has served the nation in many ways. Like I was saying, he has contributed a lot for Dhangar community in the state of Maharashtra, and he had tried to give them the reservation as the scheduled tribe. And as the parliamentarian also, he is contributing a lot for the development of the indigenous people and the backward people of the nation. While I was reading about him, his contribution in different field, I was seeing that he loves to work for the just, and he is also very much conscious about the human rights and the dignity. Perhaps for that, Mr. Venkat Krishnan has selected him to speak on this occasion about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And on behalf of all of us, we all are, I think I am also contributing my tribute on 25th birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And we all are very anxiously waiting to listen from the chief guest, Padma Shri Dr. Vikas Mahatme ji. And on behalf of all of us, on behalf of Better India, I welcome him, invite him to speak on Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose ji and I think that each one of the audience present today will be benefited by his eloquence and prudence, whatever he'll be delivering today itself. Thank you all.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Vikas ji.
Thank you, Sasmita ji, Sasmita Samanta ji, for such an elaborate talk about me or introduction about me. And I'm very happy to join this towards Better India. As dignitaries, many dignitaries are already present here. Samba Siva Rao is there, S.K. Rao is there, J.P. Dubeji is also present, Ravindranath ji, Neha Ranjan Mishra ji is also there. So many dignitaries are there. And I'm very much thankful to the organizers towards Better India, because you have given me an opportunity to share my views, my thoughts with all those dignitaries and those who are present and those who will be seeing it on the social media. Today is a Parakram Divas, and that is 125th birth anniversary of our Honorable Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And this we all know, and this now we have started, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has already started as tradition that from 23rd January, we will start celebrating the Republic Day celebrations will be started, and that will be till 29th. So it will start with Parakram Divas, and we are very proud of our freedom fighter and a great leader, Subhash Chandra Bose. He had many qualities, everybody knows about it. And I think our great the keynote address which Sarup Prasad Ghosh will be delivering. He will be sharing his thoughts in detail about this. What is the today's relevance of regarding the Netaji's thoughts? And everybody knows about Netaji and his thoughts, but this is very important how it is relevant today. He was Netaji was a great orator and a communicator. We all know. But most important, what I feel is that he used this as a diplomat for establishing diplomatic relationship. That is what is important. But if you see from Singapore, he has given a call to everybody that Chalo Delhi. And then from Burma, Imphal, Kohima, and he declared independent India on 21st October 1943. That was for the first time we declared independent India, which was supported by nearly 11 countries. That is Germany, Japan, Korea, China, Italy. They supported this part. And even Germany gave us this. Andaman Nicobar was handed over to, means was conquered by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and he flagged Tiranga there. That is very important, our flag. This was very important for us to know. That time also, was very difficult. It was a difficult time, but he could sustain it and he could come out through that. He was imprisoned many times, but by the British government, of course. They will not like that somebody is doing such activities for his country. But he never lost his vision of free India. That is very important, which everybody, I think, must learn. And it should motivate everybody. Because today also I feel if I get 1 or 2 failures, if I feel, okay, I have tried this, and if I get, okay, it doesn't happen, and I feel that, okay, let us leave the goal. But he never was away from his goal of free India. Persistence, even after failures, or he may not have called that failure at all. It must be, in his dictionary, it must be as a learning experience, not a failure really. We call that as a failure because it was not successful for our research, but it is a learning experience, a stepping stone. Because whatever he has learned, he has utilized it for future, for free India. So the goal of life should not be changed. That is very important. Anybody can fail. That is not every time you will be successful. But what is important, how you get out of it, how you use that as a learning experience, how you use that as a stepping stone for your success towards goal. He never changed his goal. That is important. So that if we do not change our goals and still continue working on, we will be able to achieve the goals, which is very important for everybody to get from his lifetime achievements. His vision was great. I think for the first time, somebody must have spoke about vision of free India in Congress, the National Congress Party, as a president. What was the vision? Vision was equal opportunity for everybody, irrespective of where you are born, in which caste, in which religion, in which creed. And of course, the gender also. It shouldn't matter. That was his vision. Equal opportunity. I feel today also this is very relevant. If you see, still, those who are downtrodden, they find it difficult to compete with others. Those who are economically backward, they feel very difficult to compete. Those who are from the students from villages and the students from the cities, especially metropolitan cities. If you see, it will be the tools which are available for education to the villagers and to the city students are totally different. So there are still the problems, but we have to work on this equal opportunity for everybody. And that has to be a continuous process. Okay, during freedom movement, people have given life and of course, but now we have to give life for all these goals which Netaji Subhash Chandra uttered during his lifetime. That is equal opportunity for everybody. Especially, he was very conscious about the gender bias. I shall not say sex bias because that is a better word, gender bias. Today also, if you see, the marriages are there below the age of 18 years. And as a doctor, I was not believing that Maharashtra being a forward state, we have nearly 30% of marriages which are there, which are below the age of 18 years, the females get married. So you can think of what will be the status in other states, especially. So what is important today also, I feel that we should work on the vision of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. We have to work on equal opportunity. He spoke during the Congress, as a fundamental rights which we will be giving into free India at that time. This was for the first time somebody has spoke about fundamental rights. Today, we have already been in the constitution, they are incorporated, but still we have to implement by spirit now because it is there in the letter. But now we have to accept by spirit. We have to, in our mindset, it should be for everybody, it should get imbibed inside the mind that, okay, what are the fundamental rights? And we may have different views about everything. But what is most important is that we may not agree with the views, but we will respect the person who is expressing the views which are not agreeable to me. That is very important. We have to respect the person. We have to respect the thoughts, but we may not agree with the thoughts. That is important. So if that is there, what we call it as a brotherhood, what we call is the expression of all the thoughts and expression of speech or something like that. But once this is imbibed inside this value, that other persons may have different thoughts or their views may be different. I may not agree with those views, but I still respect that person and those thoughts. And I shall put my disagreement in by the words. He, as Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Honorable Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, that time stated about three major challenges about the India, and he stated that we will have to fight for these three things which are very important. And he told to the youth about those things for which the youth should work. I think we have to work on those three issues today also. He had, Honorable Netaji had a full faith in the youth power. And today, India has a population which is more youthful population is more. So he had a full faith in the youth power. Similarly, youth had a full faith in Netaji. That is also important that time. he was able to motivate all the youth power. What was his vision as far as what he asked the youth to do is, we have to fight against poverty first. Second is illiteracy, and third is diseases. I think at that time what he has said is still is necessary that we have to work on all those 3 points today also. That is very important. Poverty, we know today, is a major challenge which we are facing. Then illiteracy and diseases. For illiteracy, I personally feel whatever is needed, of course, education up to 10th and 12th is free, but still there are children who are out of school. There are children which are of nomadic tribe or downtrodden, they are not going into the schools. There are children who are working on the railway platforms, they are not going to the schools. So many children, beggars you can see on the street. I see, actually, if you see, when the child is born on day one, the mother will carry, the beggar mother will carry it to the chowk or square and she will beg. And that child really, we pay because of pity, we feel bad about that and we pay. We give some amount. That is true, it is good. But what is the thing is that child is the earning member. And we have to now work on that child. That is very important, so that his education at least is guarded. His poverty doesn't means his development. So he doesn't become a stunted child. That is very important. We have to work on that. And that is why not only youth, everybody should work. Now we have got the freedom, but we have to work on these three things, which are very, very important. When we say diseases, really, what I feel is how to be healthy is also very important. I learned it from my experience. I shall like to share. I don't know whether I shared it this way or not, but still, what is important, I shall like to share my experience during my internship. I was in a village and we had a cholera outbreak there. And one of the villages had cholera, and we could hardly give them saline, which was sufficient to survive, intravenous saline. And then we did some research and we found that there was only one well in which, from which they were used to drink the water, and that water was contaminated. Cholera vibri organisms were there. We found it in culture, and we told to the people that, okay, you were drinking of this contaminated water, and that's why you got the cholera. And nearly 64 people suffered. They were treated, and 114 were total. I think around 50 people were okay. And then I went to the village and told them that you should put bleaching powder or something in the well, then only you should use water. And this is because of contamination, you all suffered. Everything now as far as knowledge, because I was young, and so I gave them all the knowledge which I thought essential. But the Sarpanch of that community of 114, he said, sir, I got your point, and what you say is correct, but tell me, we are all drinking water from this well, and we had 64 people suffered from cholera, but other 50 people didn't got any symptoms and they were healthy. Why they were healthy? And for the first time in my life, I thought that why the people are healthy, taking contaminated water also. That is very important. That I should also learn. So we have to work on how to remain healthy. I don't say that you should drink contaminated water. But there has to be a system where we remain healthy. What things we should do so that we remain healthy and have a long life. And we have to work on it continuously. Then second is the mental health also is very important. When I say mental health, everybody feels that it's all about disease, mental diseases or something. No, there is not a single person who will not face stress during his lifetime. Day to day also, everybody has a stress. But anybody has taught us that how to reduce the stress in life and use it for our better output? No. Whatever education today we are giving, what I feel personally is not about the life. Or we are not, you may learn about mathematics, chemistry, physics. You will learn about the earth where we are living. People know everything about earth. Then people know about stars and the universe and everything. But we don't know what about our mind, our thoughts, our emotions, then our stress, how to face with that, how to face with these sorrows, how to face with the anger. We don't know. Why it has not been taught, though everybody will have all these feelings. How to cope up with the stress, how to bring our siblings or how to bring the children, bringing up of the children. That is never taught to anybody. Everybody has to do that. And it's not that you will say, okay, we learn it by practice and something. It's not true, because totally the environment is changing, so we have to change. Relationship with the family members and relationship with others in the team, that is very important. Any team, in office also, we need a relationship. And I don't say every time we think of relationship means the commercial. No, it's not. Everything. So that is what is more important. In poverty, I shall tell you, I always feel how to earn money legally and ethically. That is also very important. Why it has not been taught? Because it will not be like India is rich and the Indians are poor. This will not be there. So we have to work on what we need. We have to learn what we need to in day-to-day life. I tell you a small story that in circus, if you see, what used to happen is the tiger cubs will be they will be taught by that master hunter that how to jump from one stool to another table, and then how to go through a fire ring, and then they can do everything. But the cub when becomes a big one and suppose 2 years, and you leave that tiger now into the forest, what will happen? He will not be able to do hunting for himself. He will not be able to survive. Similar things are happening with us. We are not able to survive. We know about mathematics, physics, chemistry, but we are not able to survive in the life. And that's why suicide rates are very high. Depression, 24% is the WHO says. So all this poverty, illiteracy, and diseases, that is very important. Youth, 24% of 18 to 35 are depressed. Then they go for aggression or for addiction. So poverty, illiteracy, and disease, everybody should work for, which the vision our Honorable Netaji has given, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, which I feel we should work on. At that time also, Netaji's vision was we should have Indian Chamber of Commerce. So a system has to be developed. It's not that only we have to elevate poverty. No, we have to develop a system. We have to develop institutions. That was his force, and that is relevant today also. So that is what I feel. There are many things to learn from him. And I always feel that the process is very important. Ultimately, he has achieved the goals also. But the process of achieving the goal is very important, from which we can learn. And that is what our honorable keep note address, which will be given by Sarup Prasad Ghosh. He will be elaborately talking about that. और मुझे लगता है कि आज भी जैसे मेरी उनकी आवाज मेरे कानों में गूंज रही है, जैसे तुम मुझे खून दो मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा. Let us see that okay, everybody is putting the efforts and then India will grow definitely. That is what I feel. I hope this Parakram Divas, which you have organized this will motivate everybody for devoting their life for the betterment of great India. Thank you and Jai Hind. Thanks.
So, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful speech indeed. So now I request, we lost Vandanaji. Generally, she is supposed to give introduction about keynote speaker, Sarup Ghosh. What we do is, instead of her, for audience purpose ke liye, I will give introduction about Sarup Prasad Ghosh. So before that, let me take the liberty to thanks to Vikas Mahatme ji. So thank you, sir. Indeed, it was a mesmerizing speech, and you have briefed the medical sector or the health view of Netaji's views. So now let me introduce about Sarup Prasad Ghosh. So he is going to be a keynote speaker of the today's topic. So Dr. Sarup Prasad Ghosh, born on 3rd October in Kolkata. He is an Indian by nationality, writer and academician by profession. He studied in South Point School, Kolkata, Narendrapur, Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya. And after that, she did his college studies from the St. Xavier's College and in Jadavpur University, Kolkata. And then after that, he has served as a registrar, dean of academics and controller of examinations in different academic institutions of the reputed institutions. And presently, he is working as the director of Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad Institution of Asian Studies, which is located in Calcutta. So his contributions are immense, especially on Swamiji Vivekananda and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Indeed, his research or his doctoral thesis is on the Swami Vivekananda's views on the role of religion and caste in India's social political life, the contemporary perspective. So in addition to his doctoral thesis, he has done his postdoctoral thesis also on the Swami Vivekananda ji, and the doctoral dissertation was supervised by the Professor P. Bhattacharya and Professor Nirad Branch Chakrabarti ji. So his first postdoctoral dissertation was entitled as Swami Vivekananda's Economic Thought in Modern International Perspective, India as a Case Study. And after that, he first postdoctoral dissertation was supervised by the Professor Dheeresh Bhattacharya ji and Professor Subrata Gupta ji. And his second postdoctoral dissertation was entitled as The Relevance of the Ideas of Swami Vivekananda on International Relations, especially in the Indians' foreign policy as a case study perspective. And his second postdoctoral dissertation was supervised by the Professor Radharaman Chakrabarti ji. And he also done another postdoctoral thesis that is on the Vivekananda doctrine and the new dimensions in the study of ethics in the corporate cultural of modern India. And the third post dissertation was supervised by the Professor Ananda Mohan Ghosh ji. And his main fields of study is the social sciences. And Dr. Ghosh is also associated with the Ramakrishna Mission for a long period. His doctoral and postdoctoral dissertations are published in the reputed publishers from Kolkata. He has written numerous articles in all standard newspapers and journals published in the Kolkata. He has attended several seminars, conferences, workshops, and symposiums all throughout the India. He is known as a commentator in television channels in Kolkata. Being an orator, he has participated in the different debate competitions conducted by different newspaper groups and television channels of Kolkata. He has received awards of different organizations in India. He has worked as a registrar and Padma Shri under the Padma Shri Professor Ramanjan Mukherjee when he was the chairman of the board of the governors at the time. He also worked as a registrar under the Professor Bhadesh Bhattacharya-ji and Professor Pritonomi Bhattacharya-ji, who were the directors at different times. He also worked under Professor Sri Prashamani Chatterjee, who is the chairman of Board of Governors at the time. He has served as the Dean of Academics and Controller of Examinations under Professor Ashok Ranjan Thakur, who was the first Vice Chancellor at the time. He is a court member of the Sikkim University, which is a central university located in the Gangtok and Sikkim. So it shows his commitment towards the research, because many people are fed up for doing one doctoral thesis, postdoc thesis, but he has done 3 postdoctoral theses after his PhD. So it's all about Swami Vivekananda and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. It is really fortunate to have Professor Sarup Prasad Ghosh on this discussion. So without wasting much time, let me invite Professor Sarup Prasad Ghosh to give his comments on Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Hand over to Professor Sarup Prasad Ghosh.
My respectful regards to Dr. Vikas ji. I am thankful to the organizers, particularly to Venkat ji, for inviting me in this August session, where Vice Chancellors of KIIT, Vice Chancellor of Mizoram Central University, directors of different schools in JNU, and professors from different universities of India, deans and professors from Kharagpur IIT, Nehu and Andhra University are the listeners. I also extend my regards to Professor Samantiji too. Today is the 125th birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, the man who energized the entire continent with his bold call against imperialism. Subhash Chandra Bose was mainly fighting 2 types of imperialism: political imperialism and economic imperialism. Born in a wealthy and privileged Bengali Hindu caste family, but he was born in Orissa during the British Raj. His schooling began in Orissa, and he came in touch with the complete works of Swami Vivekananda also in Orissa. It was in the residence of one of his relatives, Shurhid Mitra, from where he got the complete works of Swami Vivekananda and started reading it. He started his academic career in Cuttack, and he was very fond of Sanskrit. He went deep into the Vedas and the Upanishads and accepted Swami Vivekananda as a spiritual master, and also accepted Sri Ramakrishna as his spiritual guru. The Boses of Bengal, the father of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Janakinath Basu, and his mother Prabhavati Devi, who belonged to one of the elite Zamindar family of Hatkhola Dattas, were very religious persons, both of them, his father and mother, and had deep links with Ramakrishna Mission, Bharat Sevashram. And this made Subhash Chandra Bose highly a spiritual person. If we go through the letters he wrote in Bengali to his mother from different parts of India and abroad, the letters prove his deep devotion in spiritual thinking. His mother was worshipping goddess Durga and goddess Kali. And Subhash Chandra Bose occasionally used to go to Dakshineshwar Kali temple, once where the presiding priest was Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. During the time of tension, it was Dakshineshwar Kali temple where he used to take refuge. He went to Ramakrishna Mission, met the first President Maharaj of Ramakrishna Mission, who is known as the spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Brahmanandaji, and wanted to become a monk in Ramakrishna Mission. But it was Swami Brahmanandaji, the first President Maharaj of Ramakrishna Mission, who told him not to become a monk, but to serve Mother India as Bharat Mata, because Goddess Durga, in the form of Bharat Mata, wants his service. And he took this blessing of Swami Brahmanandaji and accepted his directive and offered himself at the feet of Bharat Mata. It is this Brahmanandaji who initiated Ramakrishna Mission in the southern states of India, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh. And this Brahmanandaji has been the person who met Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in person, because Swami Vivekananda never met Subhash Chandra Bose in person. It was his writings which motivated Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, a brilliant student who passed the Indian Civil Service examination, but opted to serve the nation selflessly. Had differences with Mahatma Gandhi, but yet had enough reverence for him. And it was Subhash Chandra Bose who first accepted Mahatma Gandhi as the father of the nation. Subhash Chandra Bose was rooted in the ideas of Swami Vivekananda and deep respect for Srimad Bhagavad Gita. He used to chant Gita. He used to read Chandi. And Netaji is a multi-talented personality. Now his contribution as a patriot, whom we know as patriot of patriots, is respected throughout India, cutting across political differences and diversity. But Subhash Chandra Bose as a politician has often been viewed by academicians from different angles. And Subhash Chandra Bose as a spiritual traveler, this area has remained untouched by the scholars for a pretty long time, because most of the scholars have been preoccupied with his political mission. Some remained occupied with his economic thought. But Subhash Chandra Bose, who was a spiritual nationalist, the spiritual tilt of his mind has remained untouched, undiscovered till date. And here comes his relation not only with Swami Vivekananda, but also with Rishi Aravinda. He conceptualized the roadmap for the development of India, which has been touched by my previous speaker in length. And he supported both urbanization and industrialization of India. He was the main motivating force behind reuniting the Indian National Army, whose glorious role has to be revisited and recognized. If we go into the books written by Professor Ramesh Chandra Majumdar, Sir Jadunath Sarkar, Professor Neelkanto Shastri, we will come in touch about the glorious role Indian National Army played in the freedom struggle of India. Apart from caste, creed, religion, region, language, the Indian National Army was practically representing every sector of Indian society, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh. It was Indians fighting as Indians after many years. And here Subhash Chandra Bose united Indians who were living in Far East Asia. My previous speaker has touched this point also, that Subhash Chandra Bose activated diplomatic relations with different nations. Today, when government of India has taken a mission to work with the East, Subhash Chandra Bose started his act with acting with the East. And here, Indian National Army practically shook the very foundations of the British Empire. The prominent role played by Japan in India's freedom movement is memorable. The writings of Swami Vivekananda, Sri Aurobindo and Hegel has gone deep into his understanding. The guiding role his mother, Prabhavati Bose, played in building up the moral base of Subhash Chandra has been remembered with regard. INA's glorious role practically energized the Indian soldiers in the Royal British Indian Armed Forces. And for the first time after the naval revolt, when the Royal Indian Naval Revolt took place in the year of 1946, Britishers understood that their days are numbered. And this British force, whose backbone was shaken by the revolt of INA led by Netaji, left India in the year of 1947. It was not that we have won independence bina kharga bina dhal. Our freedom fighters from all throughout India laid down their life, sacrificed immensely to give us this freedom. No doubt, the non-violent movement of Mahatma Gandhi had played its role in mobilizing Indian national movement. Gandhiji's contribution is second to none. But at the same time, Netaji and the Indian National Army played a golden role in our history. And that's why in the last 7 years of his prime ministership, our beloved Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi has shown befitting recognition to the contribution made by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in India's freedom movement. He is recognized today by the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Bhai Modi ji, as the first Prime Minister of Provisional Government of India. It is the BJP-led India government who first took this decision that Republic Day celebrations will start from 23rd of January now onwards, and it will end in 26th of January. It is Modi ji who inaugurated the Netaji Museum at Red Fort and renamed Ross Island as Netaji Subhash Bose Island in deep south in Andaman Nicobar. The other two islands, Neil Island and Havelock Islands, have been named as Sahid and Swaraj Deep by the government of India. All the secret files which were closed for the last 75 years got the day of the light, got the light after Modi ji came to power. And all the files have been opened for public scrutiny and for research after 2014. And today, Government of India and our beloved Prime Minister has declared that a granite grand statue of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose will be at the Red Fort. This proves that for the first time after many, many years, Subhash Chandra Bose has been recognized by the government of India befittingly. And we can remember that this tradition which Modi ji inherited comes down from history. The Bharatiya Jana Sangh, the mother of Bharatiya Janata Party, was born in the year after independence on this day of 21st of October, the day when Azad Hind Sarkar took oath. And it was the father of Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee, the founder of Bharatiya Jana Sangha, the mother of Bharatiya Janata Party. Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee was the person who saved Subhash Chandra Mukherjee when his education was about to be stopped in midway after he was expelled from Presidency College. It was the then Vice Chancellor of University of Calcutta, Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, the father of Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee, who is the founder of Jana Sangha, saved him and did the needful so that he can take admission in Scottish Church College and complete his education. Subhash Chandra Bose was a brilliant student all through his career, and that is a tradition the Boses had. Most of his relatives are very highly placed officers, and he comes from a family of lawyers. Indian National Army got the spirit of nationalism from the cry of Bande Mataram. And Subhash Chandra Bose had a very close relation with Kavi Guru Rabindranath Tagore. In this manner, as I told, that the spiritual guru of Subhash Chandra Bose was Swami Vivekananda. The political guru of Subhash Chandra Bose was Deshabandhu Chittaranjan Das, a lawyer who had risen to the aim of politics of Bengal. And Deshabandhu Chittaranjan Das too had differences with Mahatma Gandhi. Subhash Chandra Bose, when he was 24 years old, Gandhiji was practically twice the more aged than him. But Subhash Chandra took part in non-cooperation movement. But Gandhiji's thesis of non-violence and the process of application had some uniqueness where Subhash Chandra Bose differed. He started the newspaper Swaraj and took charge of Bengal Provincial Congress Committee. His mentor was Chittaranjan Das, who was the spokesperson for aggressive nationalism in Bengal. And at that time, Indian nationalism in Bengal during the year 1906 was mostly dominated by Rishi Aurobindo, who later went to Pondicherry. And Rishi Aurobindo's concept of nationalism, which Rishi Aurobindo elaborated in his Uttarpara speech in 1901, where he equated Sanatan Dharma with nationalism. He told that Indian nationalism grows with Sanatan Dharma. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose had differences with Sri Aurobindo after Aurobindo became a monk. But Netaji knew that how to draw a balance between different political ideas. He was never unkind to his political opponents. And we have seen that though there were differences, even after he was elected as the president of Congress, he resigned, but never fought against the opponents, because he thought that when we are fighting a foreign force, divisions within Indians will make our movement weaker. That's why he was selfless. There were differences with Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee also. Shama Prasad Mukherjee never supported Subhash Chandra Bose's idea of aligning with Muslim League in different local elections of West, at that time, United Bengal. But at that time, these political differences never ever shook the very foundations of their relations. That's why I told that Netaji, patriot of patriots, and Netaji as politician has to be studied differently. Netaji as patriot of patriots, his role in INA, his contribution is accepted. Netaji as a politician is a part which has to be discussed in a different manner. He was an economic nationalist too. He wanted a self-reliant India. And there he wanted to bring India out of the economic clutches of the Anglo-Americans. And he was a social unifying force. This division on the basis of caste, creed, language, region, he negated. He accepted India, the whole of India, the whole of undivided India as motherland, without any barrier, without any division. This united India remained in his concept. And he knew that Britishers were trying to divide India on religious lines, which he thoroughly opposed. And that's why he went out of India to reunite Indians living outside India, to shock the British Empire, because he knew that there are people in India who are supporting this partition. Now, we have seen that the universality of the Azad Hind Force and how India can be a prosperous India, the roadmap, the concept of the planning commission came from Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, so that there can be optimum utilization of the scarce resources of India. And this is elaborately written in the book of Professor Shankari Prasad Basu. Many commentators have tried to paint Netaji in their own manner. I will request my listeners that both in case of Swami Vivekananda and in case of Netaji Subhash Chandra, the best way is to read their own writings, because most of the political commentators in modern India has tried to paint both Netaji and Swamiji according to their political convenience. And this has been something which has done immense harm to academic endeavor of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. That's why I will request, don't go with the secondary commentators. You take the complete works of Swami Vivekananda and the complete works of Netaji Subhash Chandra and read it. I will end with a concept of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Because I am given 20 minutes time, I am in my 19th meeting. And when I was very young and I was learning how to speak in conferences, Swami Lokeshwarananda Ji Maharaj, the then secretary of Ramakrishna Mission Institute of Culture, Gold Park, told me that if you are given 20 minutes time, end it when it's 19. So already it's 19. So I will just give a story and end it. I am begging 1 minute from the organizers. Subhash Chandra Bose is writing a letter to his mother where he says, who is learned? He who has learned the entire library, or he who has many degrees behind his name? He said, no. So who is learned? Subhash Chandra Bose says, who can cry in the name of the God, whose tears come out when he takes the name of the God. In Bengali, the term he uses is premasru. Premasru means, prema means, in Hindu religion, we have bhakti yoga. And in bhakti yoga, when you touch the spiritual cult, you cry for your God. You cry in front of your deity. So when that comes from the core of heart, he's saying that person is learned. When he writes a letter to his mother. So when you read Netaji, please give immense importance to the letters he have written to his mother, because the most sacred relation on earth is the mother and son relation. A son writes what he really feels to his mother, because there he doesn't have anything to lose. Everywhere he has to be very diplomatic. but in front of mother, he is very clear from the heart. So you start reading the complete works of Swami Vivekananda and Netaji Subhash Chandra. And in case of both of them, start with the letters they wrote. In case of Swami Vivekananda, the letters he wrote to his South Indian disciples are great. And in case of Netaji Subhash Chandra, the letters he wrote to his mother are excellent. So if you read these letters, you will find the depth of their vision. And when you come to know the depth of the vision, the secondary explanations which are loaded with political connotations will automatically go where their destination lies. With these words, I end my deliberation with pranam to all of you, and with a song which Dilip Rai, who was one of the best friends of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, who used to sing, and this is a very dear song to Subhash ji too. Ratna dhanya pushpita ananta he sukhanita punna bhura nandita savanka nandinirva sapna me kalashmiti shmita suvatilottama रूप निलय अतुलनीया अमित वैभव रामा धरणी राघविं तं वरेण्यं जन्म भूमिं नामी मम भारत भूमिं नामी मम जन्म भूमिं नामी चंद्राकताराननाभिरामा प्रभास्वरा भाति कुतश्वि देवं नीलाभलग्ना तरिदीप्ति शिवं सपना भवतुम सभी हमको यात नीलांभलग्ना तरिदीप्ति शिवम सपना भवतुम सभी हमको यात रूप निलय अतुलनीया अमित वैभव रामा धरणी राघविं तं वरेण्यं जन्म भूमिं नामी मम भारत भूमिं नामी मम जन्म भूमिं नामी. Hari Om.
Thank you, sir. As we know, you are an eloquent speaker, and though it is a 20 minutes time, all our participants and the online viewers wanted to listen you 24/7, it seems. So indeed, it was a mesmerizing speech. Thank you, sir. So now what we do is we have around 4 vice chancellors in the panel, and some more former vice chancellors and deans and senior academicians are there. So I think it would be difficult to take all the views. So I request the participants, the people who wanted to give their comments on the Netaji or who wanted to interact with Vikas Mahatme ji or Sarup Ghosh ji, please go to the participants, and there you can find the raise hand option so that we get to know that you wanted to interact with them or you wanted to give comments on that. So I request participants to go to the participants and there raise the hand option. So before that, now I request Professor Sudhakar Edla, he is a former Vice Chancellor at Kuppam University, to give his quick comments or queries. Hand over to Sudhakar Edla.
Most Honorable Vikas Mahatme ji, Sarup Prasad Ghosh ji, Samantha ji, and all other eminent personalities and young friends present in the meeting today. Good evening to everyone. Dr. Ghosh has presented Subhash ji's journey so very well to all of us. As Venkatakrishna ji said, it is mesmerizing the way he explained the journey. He took us through the journey. I personally thank Dr. Ghosh ji, and also before that, Dr. Mahatma ji, for giving such insightful speech on great Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose ji. We have very many national heroes in the struggle of Indian independence. Of course, they do have ideological differences among them that we all know very well. But one thread that cuts across all such heroes is nationalism and deep-rooted patriotism. As Ghosh has very nicely portrayed how Netaji is called a patriot of patriots. So that's the thread that cuts across all these national heroes. Therefore, irrespective of their ideological differences, the true patriots are always remembered and worshipped. That's what we have been seeing all these years. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is one such example for admiration that cuts across all ideologies alike, within India and outside India as well. That's the beauty of that great personality. Celebrating such national heroes is an honor to all of us. And I think we should be grateful to our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji and his government for putting all out efforts to honor all such national heroes who are over and above the social and political canvas. So that's something that the present government has been doing and being admired by all Indians alike. So I think I wholeheartedly appreciate the efforts of Shri Venkat Krishna ji and his team from Towards Better India organization for organizing such interactive sessions, which not only help us remember and celebrate our national heroes, but also give the young generation, the present generation, or perhaps the future generations also, a chance to learn more deeper into the philosophies and patriotism that portrayed by these great personalities in the history of India. So I thank Venkat Krishna ji and his group for making us part of this very interesting session, and my best wishes to every one of you. Thank you, Venkat Krishna ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I request Professor J.P. Dubeji. He is a honorary professor and director at School of Mass Communications at Delhi University. J.P. Dubeji, please give quick comments.
Yeah, namaskar. Thank you, Venkat. I find it very difficult to comment on two speeches. One, the fully loaded with action experiences of Vikas Mahatme ji. And the person has done immense work. We know it, but the very simple format with which he presented it, it led us to understand how this vision of a country conceptualized and visualized by Netaji has found space in the action of modern day people. There are some people, those who are still practicing it. There are those who are doing it. And academy was at its full force when we heard Sarup Prasad ji. हमें तो लगता है Sarup sir, Premasru somehow started coming from our own eyes without being so knowledgeable. Premasru has started coming out. The way you have left us with energy. People say whenever Netaji was at the floor, people felt energized. We were also feeling energized by hearing both of you. It has been a tremendous talk, tremendous time for us. Thank you, Venkat. I don't want to make any comment. It has been absorbing. It has been absorbing. Thank you very much.
So thank you, sir. Now we will take final comment from Professor Paddayaji Gangisetti. Paddayaji, please give quick comments.
Great, sir. Actually, there were some misconceptions propagated by Western interests about the differences between Netaji and Gandhiji and all that thing. And many of these things were cleared once for all. And in future, many of those things were cleared threadbare. As you said, he has some differences, but his respect was there for Mahatma Gandhi all through his life. That is the greatest quality of this thing. And the younger generation should know the complete personality, the views of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And one person who can electrify the youth is Subhash Chandra Bose. And sadly, the youth are not completely aware of the contributions of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. It has to be go to it. I mean, we all know, like the senior people all know the contributions of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, because we wanted to learn these things. But the youngest generation should invariably, because that will certainly electrify the youth. The youth power will be again directed for the entire development of the country. That can be achieved only through the works of Subhash Chandra Bose. Thank you very much, Venkatji, for giving me the opportunity. And I salute you both, the Ghosh ji and Mahatma ji, for their really absorbing talks. Thank you very much.
So thank you, sir. Due to time constraint, we could not take some more opinions. So with this, we will conclude our session. Before concluding, let me take the opportunity to say my sincere thanks to the Dr. Vikas Mahatme ji, because he's one of the advisor to the Towards Better India, and whenever and whatever we ask him at any time, he never say no. So it is his sincerity towards the organization or his commitment to us. So really encourage us to do some more activities. Thank you, Vikas Mahatme ji, for accepting our request immediately. And next, we should say special thanks to Dr. Sarup Prasad Ghoshi, because when Manaya Bagaya ji recommended his name, earlier I was not knowing about him, but when I Googled about him, I have seen some of his videos. Then I realized we should do one video. He is the suitable person to speak on the Netaji. So indeed, it was a true and it was a mesmerizing speech, and we wanted to some more activities with Sarup ji. And we also wanted to work with Vikas ji, because he is one of our advisors. Thank you, sir. In addition to them, I say my thanks to all the participants, especially the vice chancellors and senior academicians and the youngsters like research scholars and students who are watching the online. So thank you everyone, and Jai Hind.